Hi everyone, this is GP Walsh, and in this, the fifth and final video in my series of companion videos to the ebook How to Hire a Life Coach, or any kind of coach for that matter. In this one, I actually want to talk about my practice of coaching and the kind of coaching I do. As I mentioned before, there's all sorts of different types. You know, everything from improving your golf swing to peak performance and time management. But the area in which I focus my attention is the area which is probably best referred to as transformational coaching. It's the kind of coaching that I give to people who are really interested in transforming themselves at the deepest level, to really digging in and pulling out those limiting beliefs and emotional blocks that keep us from being and having and experiencing everything that we want. Now, transformational coaching in general covers a wide variety of subjects. For me, I do my main modality is I use EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique, which is also called meridian tapping, which is based on Chinese acupuncture and is a way of helping physically the cognitive psychology that allows you to get to childhood traumas and adult traumas, to get to limiting beliefs and blocks, and very quickly clear them away. So part of my coaching practice is actually towards very specific problems, like the fear of public speaking, or the fear of the opposite sex. Very specific things that we can deal with. But in larger terms, I also do spiritual coaching and deeper work coaching to get really into not just a particular issue, but the whole environment in which the issue sits. Now, I made dress, for me, it was quite a monumental discovery. Over the years I've been doing this, and there's been like 30 of them, I made a very interesting observation. I noticed that when you clear out the way obstacles on a certain level for a person, very spontaneously they became more functional. They became more happy. They became more peaceful. And I concluded that from my direct experience, that what was happening was we were clearing away stuff that was interfering with people being who they actually were. It's not like I was taking somebody and getting rid of this and teaching them how to be this, getting rid of a particular kind of phobia and then teaching them how to be, happy and function better in their life. What I found is, as the phobias and limiting beliefs and distresses and emotional traumas dissolved, they automatically became that way. It's as if the energy just exploded all by itself, like it was there all along, which is eventually the conclusion I came to. I kind of see it like you take a rubber ball and you squeeze it. And as long as you're holding on to it, it's so out of shape, there's no way in the world it's going to bounce. And even if it did, it would just kind of bounce into things. I mean, it wasn't really a rubber ball. But the moment you release that grip, the ball, by its natural resiliency, springs back to its natural shape, effortlessly. And at that point, it functions exactly the way a ball is supposed to function. I found the human psyche and the human heart to operate exactly the same way. So I came to the conclusion that there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing to be fixed. You've learned stuff over your life, stuff that wasn't necessarily true. You've been programmed with certain kinds of conditioned responses, stuff that really you needed to be programmed with in order to keep you safe when you were younger, but was no longer needed as you got older, yet was hanging around for a while. But as that stuff goes away, you, the real you, the unconditioned you, the one that was never programmed in the first place, that's always been there, became more and more visible. And yeah, I really am convinced that it's always been there, that you don't have to create it. You don't have to invent it. You don't even have to show somebody how to do it. This really applies especially to people who have real skills but can't use them. That musicians that are really good musicians until they get in front of an audience and they keep making mistakes all over the place. Or people who are really good at speaking, very natural, articulate, even can improvise, put them in front of an audience and they totally freak out. Even thinking about being an audience, they freak out. And so what happens is that the skills that they have can't be used. There's something blocking it. And if you release that, all of a sudden there's an energy that just knows how to use the skill. I've also seen it in circumstances of gaining skills. People really frustrated because they just can't get something. And then when you work through the emotional block that's trying to keep them from stepping outside the box, as that dissolves, suddenly everything is easier to learn. So the entire learning process of gaining skill becomes quicker. So again, I've come to the conclusion that who you are is quite all right. There's nothing wrong with you. That there's layers of stuff sitting there that isn't really true and isn't really you, that's simply in the way. And all we have to do is find those, clear them away, and the real you will spring forth just like that rubber ball just springs back to its natural shape. This is what I hope for you. This is what I want you to have. Whether you coach with me or any of the other thousands of great coaches that are available out there, this is the experience I want you to have for your life. It's inspiring, it's liberating, and it takes away ages of guilt and self-doubt and even self-hatred. All of that can just vaporize in a beautiful self-acceptance, because guess what? The you really are is totally acceptable. It's totally lovable. It's not an effort, because you're so beautiful and so lovable as you are. It's not an effort. You can completely and totally accept yourself. So on that note, thank you so much for going through this whole process. You've been through a bunch of videos, 5 after the fact and a couple before you even signed up. You've read the book, and I hope you're ready to take some real concrete action for yourself and experience that freedom that comes from just liberating the soul from all its conditioning. If you want to learn more about me, you can do so at gpwalshcoaching.com. There's a lot of stuff there. And that's it for now. So until we meet again, this is GP Walsh. Thank you so much for listening, and go out and get what you need.